and welcome back to Cooking with Colin. This is the second part of the lasagna recipe where we actually make lasagna, as opposed to the first part where we just made a totally awesome sauce. Once again, few quick things you're going to want to do first. One, make sure your oven is empty. This is really important. I tend to leave pizza in the oven, and so, nobody really likes the smell of cardboard all that much. Okay, now that you know your oven is empty, step 2, light your oven. Preheat your oven. This is a bit of a process for me, but you want your oven preheated to 350. Okay, next, make sure you have all your ingredients. So, I've got my ricotta cheese. I tend to go for low-fat stuff because I have weight issues, but if you don't have weight issues, full flavor is actually a tastier lasagna. So we want ricotta, mozzarella, and Parmesan. And what we're going to do is you want to mix equal parts of all three. So this is, let's see, 1/4 times 7. So this is 1 3/4 cups of ricotta that won't let me in. Okay. Cheesy. Okay, so that's basically a pint of ricotta. So now I'm going to want basically a pint of mozzarella. And these measurements do actually have to be a little bit more precise than the other stuff I was doing. Just because you need the cheese to go on in a very specific way. So a very specific blend of cheeses really helps out with that. Like I said, it doesn't really matter how much or how little so long as it's equal parts of each. Yeah. It's not at all. I hate measuring things. That's why I do it this way. Oh, yep. Again, I'd make sure you washed your hands before doing this. Alright, and Parmesan. Parmesan. Okay. Now, we got all our cheese in a bowl. Now we are going to mush it all together. You want it all nice and clumpy, kind of like cottage cheese. Alright, so just mush it all together. Ooh, good cheese. Cheesy, cheesy cheese. Alright. Okay. So basically you want to have it as a sort of a nice texture, basically like that. A little bit flakier than cottage cheese. And you want to make sure it's evenly mixed throughout the bowl. And you don't have to do this with your hands, but I found that squeezing, like squeeze, is a really good way to get it all blended together and to make sure you have the exact texture you want. Okay, so we have our cheese. Hang on, let me rinse my hand. Okay. We have our cheese. We have our pasta sauce. And we have our noodles. And what we're going to do now is just your basic layering process. Now, grab yourself a dish. Dish like this, you're going to have about 2 layers worth. Right? Dish like this, you're going to have about 3 layers worth. So make sure when you're doing this that you can get all of your layers in there. Okay, so first layer is going to be that lovely tomato sauce we made earlier today. And you're just going to spread it over the bottom so you get a fine layer. Now, keep your eye peeled if you did end up using cinnamon sticks, bits of clove, stuff like that, because you're going to want to make sure that you pull that out before you bake this. So basically, you just want your sauce to just evenly coat the bottom of your pan. Like so. Ah, see, that's what happens when I tilt things. Like so. 1/8 to 1/4 inch thick, I guess. Okay, then you want your noodles. And again, you're just going to apply a thin layer of noodles. You basically want about 1 to 2 noodles over the entire surface. If a little bit of tomato sauce is sticking out, that's fine. Now, I'm sure you've noticed I use raw noodles. That's because all of the liquid from the sauce and from the cheese, that's going to cook your noodles. So you don't need to pre-cook your noodles. Raw noodles actually work a lot better because they don't get overly mushy. So now you want to take your cheese, you just want to drop on crumbly little bits until it's pretty well covered. And my phone is ringing, but I think I'm going to ignore that for the moment. And then you just repeat this process over and over and over again. Go away, phone. I'm busy. Ah, balls. Ooh, I think it stopped. Okay. Cheesy, cheesy, cheesy. Now, you're not going to end up with your surface completely covered in cheese. Because that'd honestly be too much cheese. Because when it melts, it's going to go over the pasta and it's going to create a nice cheesy layer. So you just want to make sure that there are no bald patches in there. You know, your holes aren't more than a centimeter square. And then go back to the pasta sauce. Again, keep a weather eye open for cloves, cinnamon sticks, and bay leaves. And you can see already how our pasta sauce went from being rather thin to really thick and hearty. And that's the beauty of that nice slow simmer. And again, you're going to want to cover the entire surface. Make sure there's no cracks along the edges. Okay, there we go. All right, and I'm guessing you know what comes next. That's right, noodles. So hopefully by now you can actually move the bag out of the way. You can actually sort of see what it's looking like, right? And then you chop it off with cheese again. Cheesy, cheesy, cheesy goodness. Sorry, bowl is in the way. And so when it comes to cooking, I'm not, a huge one for measuring cups and precision, but a certain amount of precision with the cheese is important just because you need it to be able to fall on your lasagna like this. If it's too gloopy, you get huge gobs of cheese and it's not nicely mixed up. And if it's too flaky, it's really hard to get that ricotta on there. Gloopy, gloopy, gloopy. Okay. A little more. Ooh. Okay, make sure you've got no bald patches trying to hide from you. All right. Another small amount of tomato sauce. Really try and put it on thin. I know that can be hard with the sauce I make because it's hella thick. I'm going to try to put it on pretty thin. Okay, and this is your basic lasagna casserole thing. Right, so now, hopefully our oven should be completely preheated. Oh, important touch. So if you have a lid, go ahead and use your lid. None of my stuff has lids, so Reynolds wrap. And throw it, oh, that's quite warm, in your nice preheated oven. In your pot. And you're going to cook it for about 90 minutes. Now, you may remember this Italian cheese blend I mentioned from the beginning, and it did not go into my cheese mix, but 10 minutes before my 90 minutes is up. So such timer for 80 minutes. And again, I mean, aside from the noodles, all of it's cooked already, so it doesn't really matter how long it's in there. This is just letting the cheese melt and the noodles cook and everything blend together. So I usually, if the sauce is hot, you could probably get away with like 45 minutes. I usually do it 90 minutes. And if it's frozen, you want like 2.5 hours. But whatever your time frame is, basically, your house is going to start smelling like lasagna. 10 minutes before you're done, you're going to open it up, take off the tin foil, and you're going to sprinkle this on the top. And so this is going to get that like nice charred cheesy look on the top that tastes great and looks really good. Obviously, I'm not going to make you wait for the length of the baking time to show you how to do that, nor is it worth another video. So just remember, 10 minutes before it's done, take off the tin foil and add your Italian cheese blend. And again, if it cooks a little long, that's totally fine. There's nothing in there that's going to dry out. If it's a little short, again, as long as it's not frozen, it's not going to matter, because basically within like 20 minutes your noodles are cooked and your cheese is melting. So it's really just about blending the flavors together. So, you know, there is no real over or under cooking. So whatever seems right to you based on smell. And that is how you make my mom's famous lasagna casserole type thing. The other thing I'll mention, and I mentioned it before, was the noodles. Because I'm doing this for a friend, I use the actual noodles my mom uses, but I don't generally find those at soup kitchens. Mostly I get macaroni noodles from my soup kitchens, and those work just fine. It looks slightly different. It definitely doesn't look like lasagna anymore, whereas this does, but it tastes great. So if money's an issue, remember that one. Okay, that's it. If you've got any other cooking requests, feel free to let me know, and I hope you all have enjoyed cooking with Colin. Bye!